students. In this session, we are going to discuss about management information system and how it is an instrument for organization change. As part of this session, first we will got to know about MIS. It is Management Information System, which can be defined as the development and use of information system that helps business achieves their goals and objectives. MIS is a system that provides information needed to manage organization effectively. MIS can be defined as a system to convert data from internal and external sources into information to communicate that information in an appropriate form to managers at all levels, in all functions, to make timely and effective decisions for planning, directing and controlling the activities for which they are responsible. A management information system is a subset of overall internal controls of a business covering the application of people, documents, technologies and procedures by management accountants to solve business problems such as costing a product, service or business-wide strategy. In fact, management information system has changed the physical layout of offices to new dimensions to house in line with local networks and departmental integrated systems. MIS provides management at all levels and in all functions with appropriate information from all relevant sources to enable them make timely and effective decisions for planning, directing, evaluating and controlling the activities for which they are responsible. Before discussing about organizational change, let us see what is an organization. An organization is a stable, formal social structure that takes resources from environment and processes them to produce outputs. Capital and labor are primary production factors provided by the environment. The organization transforms these inputs into products and services in a production function. The products and services are consumed by environments in return for supply inputs. The role of the MIS in an organization can be compared to the role of heart in the body. The information is the blood and MIS is the heart. The management information system ensures that an appropriate data is collected from the various sources, processed and sent further to all the needed destinations. The goals of an MIS are to implement the organization structure and dynamics of the enterprise for the purpose of managing the organization in a better way and capturing the potential of the information system for competitive advantage. The organization system is an open system and MIS should be so designed that it highlights the critical businesses, operational, technological and environmental changes to the concerned level in the organization so that the action can be taken to correct the situation. Now, objectives of MIS. The major objectives of MIS are: first, capturing data. Capturing contextual data or operational information that will contribute in decision making from various internal and external sources of organization. Second, processing data. Processing data in terms of making calculations with the data, sorting data, classifying data and summarizing data. The captured data is processed into information which is needed for planning, organizing, coordinating, directing and controlling of functionalities at strategic, tactical and operational levels. Third is information storage. The processed data need to be stored for future use. Fourth, information retrieval. The system should be able to retrieve this information from the storage as and when required by various users. A good information storage and retrieval system, including an effective indexing system, not only decreases the chances of information will be misfiled, but also speeds up the storing and retrieval of information. The resulting time saving benefit increases office efficiency and productivity while decreasing stress and anxiety. Fifth, information propagation. Information or the finished product of MIS should be circulated to its users periodically using the organization network. Now, characteristics of MIS. For the success of any organization, MIS should be based on long-term planning. MIS ought to provide a holistic view of the dynamics and the structure of the organization. It must work as complete and comprehensive system covering all interconnecting subsystems within the organization. MIS should be planned in a top-down way, as decision makers or management should actively take part and provide clear direction at the development stage of the MIS. It would be based on need of strategic, operational and tactical information of managers of an organization. MIS also take care of exceptional situations by reporting such situations. It should be able to make forecasts and estimates and generate advanced information, thus providing a competitive advantage. Decision makers can take actions on the basis of such predictions. MIS should create linkage between all subsystems within the organization so that the decision makers can take the right decision based on an integrated view. MIS should allow easy flow of information through various subsystems, thus avoiding redundancy and duplicity of data. Although MIS is an integrated completed system, it should be made in such a flexible way that it could be easily split into smaller subsystems as and when required. A central database is the backbone of a well-built MIS. MIS plays the role of information generation, communication, problem identification and helps in the process of decision making. The MIS therefore plays a vital role in the management, administration and operations of an organization. Management information systems is based on the principle that information system knowledge is essential for creating competitive firms, managing global corporations, adding business value and providing useful products, services to the customers. The MIS satisfies the diverse needs through a variety of systems such as query systems, analysis systems, modeling systems and decision support systems. The MIS helps in strategic planning, management control, operational control and transaction processing. Now, organizational change. What is change? Change may be regarded as one of few constants of recorded history and therefore, it is often said that only constant thing about change is change itself. Changes in an organization can often be identified as one of four types with the definite possibility of overlap among them. Operational changes affect the way the ongoing operations of the businesses are conducted, such as the automation of any particular area. Strategic changes occur in the strategic business direction. For example, in 1985, Hewlett-Packard had invented inkjet technology and set out to create a new market paradigm, the inkjet printer, which drove the dot matrix printers out of the market. This change in product strategy made HP the leader in the personal computer printer market for a few years ahead of any significant competition. One more is cultural changes. It affects the basic organizational philosophies by which the business is conducted. Example, implementing a continuous quality improvement system. Another, political changes. These political changes in staffing occur primarily for political reasons of various types, such as those that occur at top patronage job levels in government agencies. These 4 different types of changes typically have their greatest impact at different levels of the organization. For example, operational changes tend to have their greatest impact at lower levels of organization. On the other hand, the impact of political changes is typically felt most at the higher level of organizations. Organizational change happens when a company makes a transition from its current stage to some desired future state. Significant organizational change occurs when an organization changes its overall strategy for success, adds or removes a major section or practice, and or wants to change the very nature by which it operates. For organizations to develop, they often must undergo significant change at various points in the development. Here is one example. British Airways restructures its entire organization. Back in 1981, British Airways brought on a new chairperson who noticed that the company was operating very ineffectively and wasting valuable resources. To increase profits, he decided to restructure the entire organization by reducing its workforce. In this process, what they got right was, before the chairperson began announcing layoffs, he explained his reasons for the restructuring to the entire company to prepare them for upcoming change. Without his transparency, British Airways could have experienced employees' backlash and negative press around all the layoffs. But the chairperson always communicated honestly and frequently to manage the change. Managing organizational change is the process of planning and implementing change in organizations in such a way as to minimize employee resistance and cost to the organization, while simultaneously maximizing the effectiveness of change effort. There are 3 basic stages for a company making a strategic change. One is realizing that the current strategy is no longer suitable for the company situation. 2, establishing a vision for the company's future direction. And 3, implementing the change and setting up new systems to support it. Technological changes are often introduced as components of large strategic changes. Although they sometimes take place in their own, an important aspect of changing technology is determining who in the organization will be threatened by the change. To be successful, a technology change must be incorporated into company's overall systems, and a management structure must be created to support it. Structural changes can also occur due to strategic changes, as in the case where a company decides to acquire another business and must integrate it, as well as due to operational changes or changes in managerial style. For example, a company that wished to implement more participative decision making might need to change its hierarchical structure. Business firms invest heavily in information systems to achieve 6 strategic business objectives. One is operational excellence, that is improvement of efficiency to attain higher profitability. Second, new products, services and business models in terms of enabled by technology. Third, customer and supplier intimacy. It can be serving customers raises revenues and profits, and better communication with suppliers lowers costs. Improved decision making was the fourth one. With more accurate data leads to better decisions. Another is competitive advantage. It is delivering better performance and charging less for superior products. In the same time, responding to customers and suppliers in real time, like the companies Apple, Walmart and UPS. Another is survival. Information technologies as a necessity for the business survival. Industry level changes like Citibank introduction of ATMs and governmental regulations requiring record keeping also essential. Here we discuss managing organizational change model, which is ATKAR model. This model, managing organizational change, starts with understanding how to manage change with a single person. Among the tools available to drive individual change, the ATKAR model, developed by ProC, the world leader in change management research and control creation, is commonly used. ATKAR is an acronym for awareness, desire, knowledge, ability and reinforcement. In principle, to make change successful in individual needs. A stands for awareness of the need for change. D, desire to participate and support the change. K, knowledge on how to change. A for ability to implement required skills and behaviors, and R stands for reinforcement to sustain the change. ATKAR describes successful change at the individual level and outlines the goals or outcomes of successful change. It is an effective tool for planning change management activities, diagnosing gaps, developing corrective action and supporting managers and supervisors. Management information system and organization change. Change management is the single most important element of successful business management today. To remain competitive in increasingly aggressive markets, organizations and individuals working in them have to adopt and adapt themselves to change. Ignoring or trivializing a changing trend can be costly and only one's own peril. MIS has significant effect on internal appearances of organization of future. MIS leads to reduced hierarchy as few managers required to act as channels of information. Shared information and enhanced dissemination of information will shift the responsibility for decision making further down the organization. MIS would accelerate restructuring of workflows, giving new powers to both line and staff functionaries. The power and authority would be based more on knowledge and merit than seniority. As such, there would be describable shift towards authority with responsibility and accountability. MIS would help change the culture of organization tend to become result and performance oriented. MIS and IT would change the processes and products and would lead to separation of work from location, making geography a history. With the organization moving towards result and performance orientation, decisions would need to be data based and analytical in the backdrop of broader views and contexts. The need for acquiring knowledge would lead to knowledge workers and learning organizations. The victory often goes to the quick, not necessarily the best. MIS can deliver facts, data and trends to businesses with lightning speed. Having this information allows companies to react quickly to market changes regardless of the type, positive or negative, of volatility. 4 reasons for an organization to invest in information system development are: for business survival. In this context, time is frequently the key factor of success. 2, improving efficiency. The most cases, this means building a system that will provide high quality information required for decision support. 3, competitive advantage. Rapid creation of prototypes and user solutions represent the strategies that are emphasized. 4th one, external factors. Factors outside the organization's control. It is necessary to avoid unpleasant surprises during the implementation stage. So, it is necessary to devise a contingency plan. MIS is instrumental in bringing about change. It is also true that MIS professionals generally possess a problem solving, multidimensional and multidisciplinary way of thinking, that makes them strongest claimants for the role of corporate re-engineering. Thank you.